Hi everyone, welcome to Elimu TV. I am Mr. Brian Odongo. I'll be taking you through Kcse 2023 Mathematics, Paper 1. You are welcome. So, we are going to revise this paper and allow I start with question 1. So, this is a paper that was done last year by the students. So let's see. Let's check on question 1. Let's check on question 1. Without using a calculator, evaluate negative 13 plus 5 minus 70, sorry, divide by 70 all over 9 times 14, 9 minus 14 times negative 3 divided by 21. How do you work out that question when you are given? So let's start, dear students, by first working out the numerator part of that question. Let's start by working out the numerator part. Now, the numerator part, dear students, is negative 13 plus 5. So we have negative 13 plus 5 minus 70, then divide it by 5. That is the numerator part of our fraction. So, dear students, when you get such like a question in an exam, when you look at the operations, we've got more than one operation there. So what should come into your mind as a student is the application of BODMAS. So let's consider BODMAS. Now, dear students, when you look at BODMAS, it says brackets of division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. So when you follow these operands, the first operation that we are going to perform here is the division operation. And that is we are going to divide 70 divided by 5. Now, this will give you, this will be negative 13 plus 5. Then, you see 70 divided by 5, you just use your calculator, dear students. 70 divided by 5, you get 14. So this will be minus 14. Minus 14 like that. When you are done with that, you can also now see you have subtraction and addition. So the next step we do here, dear students, negative 13 plus 5 becomes negative 8. So this will be negative 8 minus 14. Now, negative 8 minus 14, what are you getting, dear students? Yes, the answer should be negative 22. So for our numerator part, we are getting its answer as negative 22. Then after we've gotten the answer for the numerator, dear students, we go ahead and work out the denominator part of it. So let's check back our fraction. What is the denominator? The denominator is, under the denominator, it is 9 minus 14 times negative 3 times negative 3, then divided by 21, That is our denominator part. So when you have such, again, you consider the rules of BODMAS, dear students. So when you look at what is the first operation that is coming here? Because we have subtraction, multiplication, and division, so the first operation that is coming there is division. So we are going first to perform the division, isn't it? So the division is negative 3 divided by 21. So this is the section we are going to perform first. So let's see. So this will be 9 minus 14 times, what is negative 3 divided by 21, dear students? You take your calculator once more. it is negative 3 divided by 21. You get it in terms of a fraction, it is negative 1 over 7. So this is like saying negative 1 over 7. That first bit is done. So once we've gotten that, again you look, the operation that follows is the multiplication operation. So the multiplication operation is this one here. That one there. So that will be, this now will be 9. Now, negative 14 times negative 1 over 7. Hope you remember, dear students, a negative times a negative evaluates to a positive. So again, we use your calculator. Negative 14 times negative 1 over 7, dear students, you get positive 2. You get positive 2. So this one here is positive 2. Now, 9 plus 2, what are you getting, dear students? Yes, the answer should be 11. The answer should be 11. Now, you've gotten the answer for the numerator, dear student. You've also gotten the answer for the denominator. Now, you come and rewrite it such that it is now numerator over the denominator. So, this is this now becomes, our numerator is negative 22 over our denominator, which is 11. So, negative 22 divided by 11 becomes negative 2. This evaluates to negative 2. And that becomes your answer for that question number 1. That is how you work it out, dear students. Now, let's check on question number 2. That says, simplify the expression 3a squared b negative raised to power negative 3 over 2 raised to power negative 1, a raised to power negative 2, then b squared. Now, dear students, when you look at that question, it's also a very easy question. What is it testing? We are seeing it is also involving the concept of logarithms. That is a bit of form 2 work. Hope you remember the laws of logarithms. Now, for you to work out this question successfully, dear students, the laws of logarithms should be considered. Now, let's just have maybe a hint there. The first law is normally when you have maybe a power m multiplied by a power n, this is like saying this product law evaluates to a, then you add the powers m plus n. We are going to need that concept. That is our first law of log. Another law of log that should come into your mind is that when you are having maybe am divided by a power n, this is like saying a raised to power m minus n. We are going also to consider that. Another thing I want my students to take note of is when you have a number, for example, a raised 1 over a raised to power m, this is written, this can also be written as a raised to power negative m. So these three concepts here are very, very important in answering that question number 2. Having said all that, let's now dive into it. So you have, that is like saying 3 times, so this is like saying 3 times, I want you to be very keen, dear students. When you look at the denominator, it is written 2 raised to power negative 1. So when you consider this concept, here, so that is the same as saying 2 raised to power 1. I'm applying this concept here, dear students. 2 raised to power 1. Then you have letters there with base a. So this is now times. Let's look. This one is a squared. That is times a squared. Then the denominator bit of a, is a raised to power negative 2. I'm going to consider this one here. It's like saying a raised power m over a power n is like saying a m minus n. So in this very scenario here, we say also a squared over a raised power negative 2 is like saying a, then the powers you subtract. So it is 2 minus negative 2 minus negative 2. I'm applying this concept here, dear students. Then times b. Now when you look at your b, I want you to be very keen as a student. B, you have b raised to power negative a third over b squared. So that division, the quotient law, the powers are normally subtracted. So that is written as b raised to power negative 3 minus, the denominator bit of it is 2 minus 2. So this is what that question was really testing. Are you able to apply the rules of logarithms well? So this is 2 power 1 times 3 is 6 times a raised to power 2 minus minus 4, a negative times a negative evaluates to a positive. So 2 times 2 plus 2 is a 4. So this becomes a power 4. Then times b, negative 3 minus 2 becomes negative 5. So this is b power 5. Now, this gives you which answer? It can give you something like 6 a power 4 b, this is negative 5, b power negative 5. So that is your answer as a student. You can write it like that, or someone else can give that answer in this manner. It becomes 6a power 4 over b power 5. Both those students will be right when they give out their answer in that form. So that is how we work out question 2. Let's check on question number 3, dear students. Question number 3. A triangle ABC is such that AB equals to 11 centimeters, BC equals to 8 centimeters, and angle ABC equals to 53 degrees. Calculate the area of the triangle correct to 2 decimal places. So when you get such a question that is involving a diagram, it's normally advisable sometimes you give a sketch. So you just give a sketch of your triangle as per the question. So you have AB equals to 11 centimeters. AB, this is 11 centimeters, dear students. You have BC equals to 8 centimeters. BC equals to 8 centimeters. Then angle ABC, that is this angle B here. Angle ABC equals to 53 degrees. 53 degrees. Then they want you calculate the area of the triangle. How do you calculate the area of a triangle, dear students, given 2 sides and the angle subtended by those sides? Yes, we are going to apply the formula area is equals to a half times A times B sine theta. So area is equals to a half AB sine theta. AB are the sides given, then our theta here is the angle being subtended by those sides. Now this is a half times A, which is 11, times B, which is 8, sine theta, which is my angle here, which is 53, dear students, 53. Now, with the help of your calculator, let's see what is it giving. So you key in a half times 11 times 8 sine 53. You should be getting 35.1399. But remember, so this is giving me something. The question says should always be correct to 2 decimal places. So when a question restricts you correct to 2 decimal places, ensure that your answer is in 2 decimal places. So this becomes 35.14 squared centimeters. So that is the area of that triangle, 35 0.14 squared centimeters. So that is how you are to answer that question number 3 last year. Let us also check into question number 4, dear students. Question number 4, dear students. A cylindrical solid of radius 7 centimeters has a conical top of the same radius. The height of the cylindrical part of the solid is 17 centimeters. The conical top has a vertical height of 9 centimeters. Calculate the volume of the solid, taking pi to be 22/7. How do you work out that question? It is involving some figures, so the best way always as a student, you are advised to give a sketch. You are advised to give a sketch. So here we have two figures. We have the conical part and the cylindrical part. The cylindrical part has a conical part on its top. So first of all, what we'll do here, what we'll do while answering this, what we'll do here is let's draw that cylinder. Let's give a sketch of that cylinder. So this is how my cylinder may look like. That is my cylinder, dear students. And on top of it, we have a conical shape, a cone. On top here, on the top of its surface, you have a cone like that. So that is the figure the question is talking about. Now, they are saying a cylindrical solid of radius 7 centimeters. So the radius of this cylinder here, the radius here, the distance from the center to its surface here is 7 centimeters. 7 centimeters has a conical top of the same radius, meaning also these 7 centimeters will just be the radius of that cone. The height of the cylindrical part is 17 centimeters. That means the distance here from here to here, this vertical height, the vertical height of the cylindrical part is 17 centimeters. The conical top has a vertical height of 9 centimeters. A vertical height, this distance here, this vertical distance of the cone is 9. That distance there is 9 centimeters. Calculate now the volume of the solid. How do you get the volume of this solid? Because we have two figures, the volume of the solid will be given by volume of the cone plus volume of the cylinder. So you come and write just your formula here. Volume of this solid is equals to volume of the cone plus volume of the cylinder. Volume of the cone plus the volume of the cylinder, dear students, will be giving you the volume of the solid. So first of all, let's get the volume of the cone. How do you get the volume of a cone? Volume of the cone. How do you get the volume of a cone, dear students? The volume of a cone is simply given by a third pi r squared h. A third pi r squared h. That is the formula for getting the volume of the cone. Now, we come and do substitution. It is a third. The pi we've been given is 22/7, dear students, times the radius 7 squared times height. This is the vertical height of the cone, which is 9 centimeters. So what are you getting? Again, you use your calculator. So you are having a third times 22/7 times 7 squared times 9. You should be getting 462 squared cubic centimeter. 462 cubic centimeter. So that is the volume of the cone. That is the volume of the cone. Let's also work out now the volume of the cylindrical part, dear students. Now, how do you work out the volume of the cylindrical part? You simply come and say that volume of the cylinder is given by pi r squared h. Now, the pi is 22/7. times the radius, which is 7 squared, times the height of the cylindrical part. The height of the cylindrical part we were given as 17. So this is times 17. What are you getting, dear students? In your calculator, so you key in 22/7 times 7 squared times 17. I'm getting 2618, 2618. 2618 cubic centimeters. So after I've gotten the volumes of the two figures, now to get the total volume of that solid, you do the summation of the two volumes. So volume of the solid now is given by the volume of the cone, which is 462. You add it to the volume of the cylindrical part, which is 2618. What are you getting, dear students, in such? So again, you use your calculator. When you add using your calculator, you should be getting 3080. So 3080. So that is the volume of that solid. So that is what you are to do in question number 4 Kcse last year. Now, let's check on question number 5, dear students. Let's check on question number 5, dear students. That 2 light bulbs, I'm talking about question number 5. 2 light bulbs are set to light after every 40 seconds and 60 seconds respectively. If they light exactly at the same time initially, calculate part A, the time in minutes they will take to light together again. So you see, this is a question testing us in Form 1 work. It is on LCM. The subtopic there should be application of LCM Form 1 work. Now, when you get such a question, dear students, how do you tackle it? You learn that you first of all have to get the LCM of 40 and 60. Get the LCM of 40 and 60. Now, I want to get that LCM together, dear students. So let's get, I'll use a table, 40 and 60. I want to get the LCM of 40 and 60, dear students. So with LCM, I'm starting with the smallest number that goes into both 40 and 60. So my smallest number is 2. 2 into 40 is 20. 2 into 60 is 30. Again, I'm looking for a number that goes into any. Still 2 goes there. So 2 into 20 is 10. 2 into 30 is 15. Which number again goes there? Yes, 2. 2 here is 5. 2 into 15 does not go, so you write the 15. Which smallest number goes either into 15 or 5? We have 3. So 3 here doesn't go, that is 5. 3 into 15, that is 5. Another smallest number is 5. So 1, 1. Now you realize that with LCM, you have to proceed until when the last values you get should be 1, 1, unlike the GCD. Now this LCM, what is the LCM now here? It will be 2 cubed times 3 times 5. 2 cubed times 3 times 5. Which when you multiply 2 cubed times 3 times 5, you should be getting 120. But remember that these were seconds, so this is also 120 seconds. Now, have we really answered the question? No. The question is the time in minutes. The time in minutes they'll take to light. So you need to be very keen. Now this one is in seconds, but you students, you know that 1 minute is always equals to 60 seconds. What about these 120 seconds. How many minutes will it be? So you do cross multiplication. So you'll be getting, this is 1 times 120 divided by 60. This should give you 2 minutes. Now, that means that these light bulbs will be lighting together after every 2 minutes. So that is how you answer part A. Now, part B of the question, let's check. That the number of times they will light together in the first half an hour. The number of times they will light together in the first half of an hour. So first of all, let's understand this. What is first half of an hour? So when they say half of an hour, this is like saying a half of 60 minutes, which equals to 30 minutes. So what this question is simply asking us, dear students, is how many times will these bulbs light together in 30 minutes? But you now realize that for every 2 minutes they are lighting up together. So how do you approach that? So in one count, meaning for lighting up once, it takes 2 minutes. What about for these 30 minutes? What about now for these 30 minutes? We want to see how many times will they light up together. You do your cross multiplication. So this becomes equals to 1 times 30 divided by 2, dear students. So when you take that, this is giving you 15 times. 15 times. So that means that the number of times that those bulbs will light together after half an hour is they light up together 15 times. So that is how you are also supposed to answer that part B of question number 5. Let's check on question number 6, dear students. Let's check on question number 6, dear students. Solve the equation cos 2 theta equals to sin theta for theta is ranging from 0 radians to pi radians over 4. How do you work out that question? So you realize that it's also a question on trigonometry. Let's see, dear students, how can we approach that question? How can we approach that question, dear students? When you are given such like a question, there are a lot of things that you need to remember. So the equation is cos 2 theta equals to sin theta. Sin theta. And we are given the range there, ranging from 0 to pi radians over 4. Now, the identity rule that should come here is cos theta plus sin theta should give you 90 degrees. So that is the concept that they are testing there. Are you able to relate this concept? So how do you proceed? This will now be 2 theta plus theta equals to 90 degrees. So when you add 2 theta plus theta, that gives you 3 theta. So this will be 3 theta equals to 90 degrees. I want to get my theta. I'll divide here by 3. I divide here by 3. This will cancel out. So what am I getting? I'm getting my theta equals to 30 degrees. 30 degrees. Now, after I've gotten that, I have to check, have I answered the question? No. They say, leave your answer in terms of pi radians. Leave your answer in terms of pi radians. So this also tells you that as a student, you have to be very keen with such questions. Sometimes they give that challenging bit so that if you lose some marks. So what you know, dear students, is that pi radian is equivalent to how many degrees? Is equivalent to 180 degrees. So if pi radian equals to 180 degrees, what about these 30 degrees? How many pi radians does it represent? So this will be pi radian times 30 degrees over 180 degrees. So you realize that 0 and 0 cancel, 3 here ones, 3 into 18, 6. So you realize that this one, what are you getting? You are getting pi radian over 6. Pi radian over 6. So that should be your answer because it is in that range. It is in the range 0 to pi radians over 4. So this should be your answer, dear student. So that is how you are to do that question number 6. That's how you are to answer that question number 6, dear student. Now, let's check on question number 7. Let's check on question number 7, dear student. Let's check on question number 7, dear students. Simplify and hence factorize the expression given. You are supposed to simplify and factorize the expression given. So you realize that what is the expression there? The expression there is 5x minus 4y, 5x minus 4y, 4x plus 5y, 4x plus 5y, minus 9xy, minus 9xy. So the question says, the question simply just says simplify and hence do what? Factorize. So first of all, let's start by simplifying. Now, which part am I going to work out first? This part here. This is the part I'm going to deal with first. So that is 5x minus 4y into 4x plus 5y. How do you work it out, dear students? Here you have to expand. Expand is the removal of the brackets. Now, this is normally done this way. It is now 5x into 4x plus 5y minus 4y into 4x plus 5y. That is the first step you have to do there as a student. Now, 5x times 4x, that gives you 20x squared. 5x times 5y, that gives you positive 25xy. Then you come, this is now minus 4y times 4x, this gives you 16xy. Then negative 4y times positive 5y, this gives you negative 20y squared. Then after that you'll see that these 20xy and 16xy are like terms, isn't it? Meaning, now this now becomes 20x squared. Now you have positive 20xy minus 16xy. What are you getting, dear students? Yes, should be positive 9xy. So this is plus 9xy minus 20y squared. Now by doing that, we would have expanded this expression here. We've removed the brackets. But now remember that our expression had minus 9xy at the end. So now you'll come into this and include it. So this is now 20x squared plus 9xy minus 20y squared. Then now minus 9xy, minus 9xy. Now you'll realize that positive 9xy and negative 9xy can cancel out, dear students. So this one and this one will be cancelling out. What are we left with? We are left with 20x squared. 20x squared minus 20y squared. So when you have 20x squared minus 20y squared, what is the common factor here? Yes, we can see that 20 is a common factor. So we can factor out that common value. So we factor out 20. So we'll be left with x squared minus y squared. We are almost there, dear students. Now, look at the value that is inside the brackets. X squared minus y squared. What comes into your mind? It's a difference of two squares. Remember that when you talk about a difference of two squares, a squared minus b squared is like a minus b, a plus b when you expand it. So this difference of two squares that is inside the brackets, dear students, we can expand it such that now our final expression becomes, our final answer becomes 20 into x minus y, x plus y. Up to that point now you would have answered that question the way it is expected. The way it is expected. 20 into x minus y, x plus y. Let's check also on question number 8. Let's check on question number 8, dear students. Question number 8 of Kcse paper 1 mathematics 2023. Question number 8. Sorry for that. From a point on top of a cliff 40 meters high, two boats A and B are observed due east. The angle of depression of boat A is 32 degrees and that of boat B is 52 degrees. Determine the distance between the two boats correct to two decimal places. Correct to two decimal places. So we can give a sketch. So I can say this is my cliff. This is a surface. I call this one a cliff. This is a cliff. Now, this cliff of mine is 40 meters high. The height from here, from the ground to the top here, is 40 meters. Then they say that we have two boats here, boat A and boat B. Boat A and boat B. Now, the angle of depression for boat A is 32 degrees. Meaning when I'm at the top here, at the top of my cliff, the angle of depression here, they are talking about this angle. If this is where my boat A is, the angle of depression for boat A is 32 degrees. Hapa, it's 32 degrees. Now when you look, this surface here, this line and this one line are parallel. When we have a traversal running through them, we have to remember the concept about the Z angles. That is the alternate angles, which are always equal. So if here is 32 degrees, therefore also here is 32 degrees. So that is for boat A. We also have another boat B, whose angle of depression is 52 degrees. So this is where boat B will be in that case. If boat B is here, the angle of depression from here to here is 52 degrees. Still, this angle is alternating with this angle, therefore they are equal. So this angle here also will be 52 degrees. Now, after having your sketch, now it is very easy now to proceed and answer your question. Determine the distance between the two boats. Determining the distance between the two boats. Now, in order to determine the distance between the two boats, let's say let the distance between the bottom of the cliff and boat B be x. The distance from here to here, let distance here be x, okay? X meters. And the distance from the bottom of the cliff to where boat A is, let it be y. Let it be y. This one here can be y meters. Now, you come and see that here you have to apply the Sohcahtoa concept. You have to apply the Sohcahtoa concept. And let's get the tan of 52 degrees. Tan of 52 degrees. So, remember that we want to talk about the Sohcahtoa. The Sohcahtoa. So, when you talk about tan, the tangent, it is opposite over adjacent. So first of all, dear students, let's get tan 52 degrees. Tan 52 degrees, it is the opposite. The opposite of, its opposite is 40. over adjacent. My adjacent in this case will be x. If I make x the subject of the formula, I'll be having x equals to 40 over tan 52. What are you getting in that case? You just key in using your calculator, 40 divided by tan 52. I'm getting 31.25. So this is 31.25 meters, meaning the distance from boat B to the bottom of the cliff is 31.25 meters. Let's also get the tangent of 32 degrees. Let's get tan 32. Still, it is the opposite. Its opposite is 40 meters. Over the adjacent, the distance from here to here is y over y. Now, if I'm interested in getting, in making y the subject of the formula, dear students, what am I getting? You'll get y equals to 40 over tan 32. So 40 divided by tan 32, 40 divided by tan 32, you'll be getting 40 divided by tan 32, you'll be getting 64.01. This one is 64.01 meters as my distance y, meaning boat A is 64.01 meters away from the cliff. Now, they want the distance between the two boats, meaning they want the distance AB. They want the distance AB, dear students. Now, how do you get the distance AB, dear students, in that diagram? The distance AB. Now, in order to get the distance AB, if boat B, if A to the bottom of the pole is 64 and B to the bottom of the pole is 31.25, therefore, the distance between AB, the distance between AB is 64.01 you less 31.25. So when you do that subtraction, you'll be getting 32.76. So this is 32.76 meters. So that is how you are to answer that part. That's how you are to answer that part. Let's get into question number 9. In the following figure, triangle ABC is a uniform cross-section of solid ABCDF. Given that BE is one of the edges on the solid, complete the sketch below. Complete that sketch. Now, with that, there are things that should come into your mind when you are given that question. One, you should have at least a ruler and a pair of compass. Now, let's see it. So you are given, I'm just going to give a sketch, dear students. You have A, B, C. Then you have this imaginary line, a dotted line running to E. Complete it. Now, the first thing, let's look at, remember that ABC is a cross-section. So, the first thing, let's look at this distance BE. So with you take your compass, measure the distance BE. The distance BE, after you've measured it using your pair of compass, you transfer the same pair of compass to point C. And with it here at point C, you make an arc at this side. You make an arc such that this distance and this one here should be equal. After that, after making that distance, without adjusting the same measurement, you place your I'm sorry, dear students, for that technical issue, but we are back. So I said, with your pair of compass at point C, you make an arc here, transfer the same measurement to point A, then make an arc at the other side, like that. Then after that, we also need to consider this distance BC. Now, with this distance BC, you measure using your pair of compass. Then, after you measure that distance, you place your compass at point E here, then make an arc. You make an arc here. Where those two arcs are cutting each other will be point D. That will be your point D. After that, let's also consider the distance AC. Measure the distance AC using your compass. After you've measured it, transfer the compass to point D, then make an arc to cut that arc above there. This will be your point F. Now after that you have to join. But now when you are joining your points, you need to be very keen, because the question says complete the sketch showing the hidden lines with broken lines. So first of all, let's see. This distance CD will be a visible line, so it should be drawn using a complete line, like that. Like that. Then also you have this one here, FD. FD will also be a complete one. It's visible. EF, it's invisible, so it's dotted, it's hidden. Then AF will be a complete line, like that. Then this one here will also be a dotted line. So that is how you are to answer that question. Make sure you are accurate in your drawing, dear students. Let's check on question number 10. A salesman sells storybooks and textbooks. The cost price of a storybook is 600 shillings, and while that of a textbook is 900 shillings. The salesman is paid a commission of 10% on the cost of any book sold. One day, the salesman sold twice as many storybooks as textbooks. He earned a commission of 8,400 shillings. Determine the total number of storybooks sold. Now, so they say that this person sold twice as many storybooks as textbooks. So if the number of textbooks sold, if the number of textbooks sold is X, they say that this person sold twice as many storybooks as textbooks. So the storybooks sold in this case will be twice of this. So it will be 2X. Now you learn that they say that the cost of a storybook is 600 shillings. So these storybooks are going at 600 shillings, while that of a textbook is 900 shillings. So one textbook is going at 900 shillings. So this person earned a commission of 8,400. So if one textbook is costing 900 shillings and this person sold X textbooks, so the total cost for the textbooks, it will be X times 900, which becomes 900X. That's the total cost for the textbooks. Now, the total cost for the storybooks, it will be now 2X times 600. This evaluates to 1200X. After that, remember that this person is given a 10% commission for any book sold. So in order to get the commission, for this one, it will be now 900X, but 10% of it times 10 over 100 plus, for the case of the storybooks, it will be 1200X, 1200X times 10 out of 100. So these expressions here will be giving you the total commission, which will be equals to 8,400. This one here should be equating to 8,400. 400 should be equating to 8,400. So you open up the brackets, this and this goes, this and this goes. So this one becomes 90x plus this 0 and this disappears, this and this goes. So you are left plus 120x should be equals to 8,400. So 90x plus 120x is 210x. So you get 210x equals to 8,400. I'm interested in getting the value of x, so I divide here by 210. I also divide here by 210. So I'm getting x. I will be getting x as 40. X as 40. But what was my x? Remember that my x was the number of textbooks sold. The number of textbooks sold. So the question says determine the total number of storybooks. And you know that with the storybooks, the storybooks sold were 2x. So it is 2 times x, which is the same as 2 times 40, which gives you 80. So meaning that salesperson sold 80 storybooks on that day. Sold 80 storybooks on that day. Question number 11. The equation of a curve is given by, y equals to x squared, using the trapezium rule with 4 strips, estimate the area enclosed by the curve, y equals to x squared, the lines x equals to 1, x equals to 5, and the x-axis, using the trapezium rule. So you see that this is a question on Form 4 work. So first of all, let's get the height. And how do you get the height, dear students? Height is given by xn minus x naught over the number of strips. Now, xn is the last value of x, while x naught is the first value of x. So you see that x is ranging from 1 to 5. So the last value of x is 5. So this is 5 minus 1 over the number of strips. In the question we are told 4 strips. So this is 1, meaning my h is 1. My h is 1. After I've gotten my h, I will now make a small table of data, x and y. So the first value of x is 1. But it is the interval is 1, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, for each x value, we need to compute the y value. Computing the y value, just replace in this equation, that of y equals to x squared. So when x is 1, y will be x squared. 1 squared is 1. 2 squared now will be 4, 3 squared will be 9, 4 squared is 16, 5 squared is 25. After you fill your table, you now come and apply the formula for getting the area using using the trapezium rule. Now, area is given by a half h into the last value of y's, that is y naught plus yn. My yn in this case, will be this 4, y4, plus 2 into the remaining y values, 1, 2, 3, y1 plus y2 plus y3. That's the formula. So you do substitution. This is a half times h, which is 1, into y naught is this first value, that is 1, plus yn, which is 25, plus 2 into 4, plus 9 plus 16. When you work it out, what are you getting? When you work that out, you'll be getting 42 square units. This gives you 42 square units. So that is how you work it out. But you don't have to cram this, because that formula is normally given behind the log table. Let's check on question number 12. Question number 12, vectors A, B, and C are represented on the following grid. On the following grid, represent the resultant vectors A plus B vectors. So when you look at these vectors, this simply seems to be vectors 1. Vectors 1, which is also formed to work. Vectors 1. Let's check on how we answer that. Now, these vectors, because they are represented on a grid, we are going to refer to them in terms of column vectors. When I'm talking about a column vector is normally written in form of x, y. That's how we normally write a column vector, in terms of x, y. Now, let's look at vector A. Let's look at vector A, dear students. Hope you are all able to see that vector A. Now, let's look at its displacement on the x-axis. The displacement on the x-axis, you see for that vector A, it has moved 2 square units. The x-axis is the horizontal axis, and when you look at it, vector A has moved 2 big squares, so it is 2. Then on the y-axis, it has moved 3 big squares, so it is 2, 3. So this is my vector A. I don't know if all of you can see it from the diagram, dear students. Then you have also vector B. Vector B, when you look at that vector B very well, though it's not very clear there, but it is horizontal, and horizontally it is covering 2 big squares. So for vector B, on the x-axis it is 2, but because it is horizontal, the y in the x-axis, y is always equals to 0. So its y value is 0. So that is the column vector B. Let's also look at vector C. Now, when you look at vector C, remember that a vector is something, a quantity that has both magnitude and direction. And in vectors, when you change direction, the sign also changes. Now, when you look at vector C, horizontally, it is covering 2. So on the x-axis, it is 2. On the y-axis, it's also 2. But what I need you, dear students, to be keen on is look at the direction. It is downwards, isn't it? Meaning now it is -2. Like that. Now, when they want you, dear students, to get the resultant vector A plus B, the resultant vector of A plus B, dear students, what you can do, draw that vector AB. Sorry, draw that vector A. After you've drawn that vector A, whose column vector is this? At the end, if this is my vector A, for example, if this is my vector A, at the end here, I have my vector B because I'm adding B, and B is covering 2 square units horizontally. So vector B will be this one here, vector B. Now they want A plus B. This is the vector they are referring. This one here is now what they call A plus B, vector A plus B. So now because they say represent, you should draw something of this sort. Now after you've drawn it successfully, that is how it should appear. Now after you've drawn it, part B of it, they say AB plus C. AB first, then to it you add vector C. Now AB is this one here, you have to add vector C. Now look at vector C. From here vector C is going 2 steps on the x-axis and 2 steps on the y-axis. So diagrammatically it should come and appear that way. So this is my C. Now after I've gotten my vector C, in order to get AB plus ABC, it will be now this vector. This is now the vector they are calling vector A plus B. Then onto it they are adding vector C. Onto it they are adding vector C. So that is what you are required to do on that question. Let's check on question number 13, dear students. Given that matrix P 4, 2, negative 7, 1, and Q, negative 1, 6, 5, negative 3, and R equals to this, determine matrix R. determine matrix R. Now, in order to determine matrix R, look, they say that R is given by 20 P inverse plus Q. First of all, let's get, you have your P. Your P there you are given as 4, 2, -7, 1. Let's get the inverse of vector P. How do you get the inverse of vector P, dear students? In order to get the inverse of vector P, first of all, you get the determinant. The determinant is normally the main diagonal minus the minor diagonal. So that is 4 times 1 minus 2 times -7. So 4 times 1 is 4 minus 2 times -7 is negative 14. Negative 14 is negative 14. Now, what, sorry, this was -1. -1 was here. I omitted this. So this is 4 times -1. So meaning this is negative. So this is like saying -4 plus 14, which is giving you +10 as your determinant. After you've gotten your determinant, now to get the inverse of a matrix, it is normally 1 over the determinant, which is 10, times. Now, I need you students to be very keen on this. On the main diagonal, the values interchange. Then on the minor diagonal, the sign changes. So when I interchange the main diagonal, this will be -1, 4 will come here. Then with the minor diagonal, the sign changes. This will be -2, this will be negative, so this now becomes +7. So that is the P inverse, the inverse of P. Now this one, you can even go ahead and say, this is like saying -1 over 10, -1 over 5, 7 over 10, 2 over 5. This as your P -1. After you've gotten that, let's see, it's 20 times P inverse. So 20 P inverse simply means it is 20 times the inverse of that matrix P, which we've gotten as -110, -710, -15, 25. So this becomes, when you work it out, this becomes -2. This 1 times 1 here will be coming -4. This times 1, this will be coming 7. This one, this is 4, 8. This is your 20 P inverse. After you've gotten your 20, after you've gotten your 20P, so this will be 14 because 20 times 7 over 10 becomes 14. After you've gotten your 20P inverse, you have also your matrix Q. What is my matrix Q? Matrix Q, in my case, it was -1, 6, -1, 6, then 5, -3. 5, -3. Now, remember that we are supposed to get R, which is normally given by 20P inverse plus Q. But now 20P inverse I've already gotten as this one here. So this is -2, 14, -4, 8 plus Q, which is -1, 6, 5, 3. How do you add matrices? You add the position vectors well. So -2 plus -1 becomes -3. 14 plus 6 becomes 20. -4 plus 5 becomes 1. 8 plus 3 becomes 11. 8 plus 3 becomes, this is negative, so this should be 5. So this is your vector, your matrix R, That is your matrix R. That's your matrix R. Now, dear students, I want to leave it at this point shortly for just a short break of around 5 minutes. Then I'm coming back and we are picking it from question number 14. We are picking it from question number 14, dear students.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
People pass vuguvugu. People pass ni idea.
Tazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, hiyo inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni duniani leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Access to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
Tunachimba hadi mizizi kukuletea yanayojiri.
So mimi naomba tu serikali yetu ya Mungu, jibarikiwe na Mungu, iweze kuteremsha bei ya mafuta.
Yanayokukumba tuna maizi, tunakutetea sisiri. Kwa kweli ni speciali tukikupambia makala ya mwanamke mwake. Utasema hupendi mizizi ya habari. Nami Caroline.
Get ready to kickstart your day with the most exciting morning show around. Tune in to our dynamic and entertaining program where we keep you informed, engaged, and entertained from the moment you wake up.
From breaking news and current events to music, fun, and out of the ordinary stories, we've got you covered with a mix of interviews, games, and special segments. You never know what's in store.
Join us every Monday morning
and Tuesday morning
for a fun and fascinating way to start your day.
Don't miss out on the action.
Tune in now and experience the excitement for yourself.
Only on KUTV Rise Today from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Start your day
with us.
Kaunti maarufu kwa kuzalisha maziwa na ukuzaji wa majani chai. Pia, serikali ya kaunti inawahimiza wakulima kukumbatia mitindo mingine ya kilimo kuzidisha mapato.
kama kuna kikundi moja inafanya biashara ya kuuza kuku, hao pia tumewafadhili kuwafunza jinsi ya kuhandle zile kuku kwa sababu wanaleta kwa wingi.
Haya yote tunakuletea katika Boresha Kilimo, toleo la kaunti ya Bomet.
Kilimo ni nguzo kubwa kwa ujenzi wa taifa.
From the hospital corridors, we bring you experts to discuss issues affecting your health, from diet to mental health. The familiar and the ignored are both put into perspective. We then dive into the environment and look at the effects of climate change and its solutions. Join me, Mutegi K. Martin, every Friday at 9 p.m. as we learn on how to better our health while taking care of our environment. Only on KUTV.
So students, welcome back, so that we pick from where we left a few minutes ago. That is question number 14. In a sub-county, the number of children per family was recorded from 30 families. The data recorded is as follows. So we have data recorded in a table. So we are being requested to represent the data in a frequency distribution table, dear students. How do we represent that data in a frequency distribution table? So we'll have something of this sort. We'll have, so remember that this data here is the number of children per family. So we'll have a small table of such type as our frequency distribution table. Here, we'll have the number of children. Number of children. That is X. Then, after that row will be the number of children. We'll also have the row for the number of families. Number of families. That will be F. That gives you the frequency. Then, yeah. So let's see. So let's look at how many families had 0 children. So for the number for families with 0 children, how many families do we have? You count at 0. How many families have 0? You only see 1. So it's only one family that had 0 children. So that's how you do it. Then, let's look at for families with 1 children, how many families had 1 child? 1 child. So when you look at your table, 1 is appearing 3 times, meaning it's only 3 families that had 1 child. So the number of families with 1 child is 3. Let's look at families with 2 children. Again, we get back into our table. How many times is 2 appearing in that table? So you count. When you do that counting, you'll get that 2 is appearing 8 times, meaning 8 families had 2 children each. Then families with 3 children, you remember that this we have to go all the way to 4, 5, 6, then finally 7. Finally 7. So let's look at how many families had 3 children. You get that we had 10 families with 3 children. When you count, 3 is appearing 10 times in that table. Then with 4 children, we are only having 3 families. 5 children, you have 2 families. When you proceed, that's how you'll fill that table. So by doing it like that, Have we really finished getting our frequency distribution table? No, because we have to add the last row here. That is the fx. Fx means simply it is f times x. So here it is 0 times 1 is 0, 1 times 3 is 3, 2 times 8 is 16, 3 times 10 is 30, 4 times 12 is, 4 times 3 is 12, 5 times 2 is 10, yes, 6 times 2 is 12, then 7 times. Now, this is one way. This is one way of drawing your frequency distribution table. When you look at my frequency distribution table, it has been drawn horizontally. But another student will say interpreting an horizontal table is difficult or challenging to him or her. She may decide to draw it vertically. Also, for a student that will draw this table vertically, this other way is also very, very right. It's just very, very right, such that for that case, I'll have my number of students here. Number of students may be x. I'll have this column for, I'll have another column for families. For families, which is f. I'll have then, the last column will be the fx. Then it is just 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that. Then the corresponding f values as from this vertical table, so as from this horizontal table is 1, 3, 8, 10, 3, so 3. This goes by this. Let me just clarify on this. Let me draw these horizontal lines so that we show uniformity. Then after 10 here we have 3. Then you have 2. Then finally one family with 7 children. Then you get this one here is 0, 3, 16, 30, 12, 10, 12, 7. Then at the end here, you can even end up getting the summation of fx. How do you get the summation of fx? The summation of fx is 0 plus 3 plus 16 plus 30 plus 12 plus 10 plus 12 plus 7. When you do that summation very, very well, students, you should be getting 90. You should add it. The summation of fx is 90. So you can draw it in this manner or this manner. Whichever manner you will choose as a student, it's very, very right, and you'll get your marks. Part B. Calculate the mean of the children per family. Calculate the mean of the children. How do you calculate the mean of the children? Mean is normally given by summation of fx over the summation of f. Mean, which is normally denoted by x bar, is given by summation of fx over the summation of f. Summation of fx here, I've gotten it as 90. Then, when you look at the summation of f, remember that this f is representing the number of families. And even in the question, you are told that from the data was collected from 30 families, meaning the summation of f is 30. So 90 divided by 30, you'll be getting 3. So that is how you get your mean. And that's how you answer part B of that question. Let's get to question 15. The equation of the curve is given by y equals to 3x squared minus 2. Determine the equation of the normal to the curve at x equals to 2. So they are saying x equals to 2. First of all, let's get that point. When x equals to 2, let's get its corresponding y value. How do you get the corresponding y value of x equals to 2? By replacing the value of x to the original equation of the curve. So Remember that the equation of the curve is y equals to 3x squared. 3x squared minus 2x. Minus 2x. So, when x equals to 2, therefore it means y should be equals to 3 into 2 squared minus 2 into 2. So, 2 squared is 4. 4 times 3 is 12 minus 2 into 2, which is 4. So, you'll be getting y as 8, meaning that point in coordinate form is 2, 8. That is the point. Now, after that, you are told to get the equation of the normal. First of all, let's get the gradient function of this function. The gradient function is your dy dx. Dy dx. How do you get your dy dx? You simply differentiate that equation. Differentiating, remember that you drop the power down, then less the power by 1 to get the new power. So this will, when you differentiate this will be 6x minus 2. Now, after you've differentiated that, let's get now the gradient of the tangent. Let's get the gradient of the tangent. In getting the gradient of the tangent, you'll come and say gradient is 6 into, in this x you replace the x value. Remember that x was 2, so this is 2 minus 2. So this is 12 minus 2, which is 10. That is the gradient of the tangent. After getting the gradient of the tangent, dear students, let's also get now the gradient of the normal. Remember that the normal and the tangent are perpendicular to each other. And what do you know about perpendicular lines? The product of their gradients equals to -1. That means m1 times m2 equals to -1. So that is 10 m2 equals to -1. When I make my m2 the subject of the formula, it will be -1 over 10. And this m2 I've gotten now here is the gradient of the normal. This is now the gradient of the normal. Having the gradient of the normal and the point here, we can now easily get the equation of that normal. We can easily now get the equation of the normal. How do you get the equation of the normal? You have the point 2, 8. You introduce another point called xy, then with your gradient as -1 over 10. So this is y minus 8 over x minus 2 equals -1 over 10. Cross multiplying, this evaluates to 10y minus 8 equals to negative x plus 2. This is 10y equals to negative x plus 82. So someone can say y equals to negative x over 10 plus 41 over 5. That is the equation of the normal. And that's how you are to get that point. Question number 16, dear students. On the following Cartesian plane provided, solve this simultaneous equation. Now, to solve the simultaneous equations, this is also Form 1 work. You have the first equation as as y equals to 4 over 3x. Y equals to 4 over 3x. Y equals to 4 over 3x plus 2. That is the first equation. So let's get a table for this. A table for this, you'll get you just have a small table xy. You have a small table xy. Now in that small table xy, maybe when x is -3, when you substitute it here, 4 over 3 times -3 becomes -4. -4 plus 2 becomes -2, meaning y will be 2. When x is 0, y will be +2. Then when x is 3, y will be 6. So having these points, you can easily plot it on a Cartesian plane. Then also let's check on that second equation. The second equation, we have 3y equals to 3y equals to x minus 3. X minus 3. Now this means you still draw your small table here, which is very, very important. Now, after you've drawn your small table, let's see. When x is negative 3, what is the value of y? So, negative 3 minus 3 becomes negative 6. 3y equals negative 6, meaning y will be negative 2. When x is 0, y will be negative 1. And when x is 6, let's see, when x is 6, so 6 minus 3 is positive 3. So divide by 3, it is 1. You get it as a 1. So after that, you just have your Cartesian plane, dear students. I'm just giving a sketch. On that Cartesian plane you are given, the maximum value on the x-axis is 6. So you have maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. So you have to plot these points. Huh? Maybe I start with this first table, negative 3, negative 2. So I have negative 3, negative 2. Maybe this is the point, for instance. Negative 3, negative 2, I'm getting that as the point. 0, 2. 0 on the x-axis, 2 on the y-axis, it is here. Then you have 3, 6. 3, 6. 3, 6. Let's just have this, these are 6 here. Negative 5, negative 6. So the point 3, 6 is a 3, 6. You realize that maybe it is here. But I think for you as a student, when you draw it, it's very, very nice. Then you realize that that is giving you a straight line, okay? You draw your straight line as a student. Draw your straight line, passing through those points that you've gotten. For instance, if that is my straight line, I label this as y equals to 4 over 3x plus 2. Then for this table here, I have negative 3, negative 2, negative 3, negative 2. I'm getting it is this point here. Then also you have another point 0, negative 1, 0, negative 1. You have another point called 0, negative 1, 0, negative 1. It is here. Then 6, 1, 6, 1, maybe it is here. Then after that, you also have to draw your line. Should be a straight line. Make sure you are drawing, you are joining using a ruler. Make sure you join your points using a ruler. Now, after you've drawn your two lines, the point of intersection of the two lines, where those two lines meet, gives you the solution. In my case, they are meeting here. So once they have met there, you read its x coordinate. So the x coordinate you'll be getting here x. X will be giving you negative 3, and y should be giving you what? You read its y. It's 3. Its y value should be negative 2. Negative 2. So that is how you solve that question. That is how you solve that graphical question under Form 1 work. Section B, let's check on section B. Question number 17. Let's check on question number 17, dear students. Now, when you look at that question number 17, dear students, it is a question on linear motion. Again, it is, linear motion is Form 2 work. Form 2 work, so I need you to have a better understanding of linear motion when we dive into answering that. Let's see what the question is demanding from us in order to get it right. So, two towns, A and B, are 400 meters apart. A motorcyclist traveled at an average speed of 60 kilometers per hour from town A to town B at 1:20 p.m. A matatu traveling at an average speed of 80 kilometers per hour also left town A for B at 2 p.m. So you just have to give your sketch. So you have the two towns. This is town A, the end here is town B. A motorcyclist traveling at an average speed of 60 kilometers per hour. So we have this cyclist here. This cyclist is moving at a speed of 60 kilometers per hour. And this person left at 1:20 p.m. A matatu traveling at an average speed of 80 kilometers per hour also left. So we also have a matatu. This one is for the matatu, moving at 80 kilometers per hour. And this matatu left at 2:00 p.m. So the question is, calculate the distance moved by the motorcyclist by 2 p.m. This cyclist began the journey at 1:20 p.m. So they want by 2 p.m. how far had this cyclist gone? So first of all, let's get the time taken. Between 1:20 p.m. to 2 p.m. So this is 2:00, you less 1:20. So this you are getting is 40 minutes. This 40 minutes, when you convert it into hours, it is 2/3 hours. Meaning they want the distance covered by the cyclist in 2/3 hours. Now distance is simply given by speed times time. Speed times time gives you the distance. The speed of the cyclist was 60 and the time is 2/3. So when you look at that, that gives you 40 kilometers. So meaning by 2 p.m., the cyclist had already covered 40 kilometers from point A, from town A. So that's what question Roman 1 was asking. Let's check on Roman 2. The distance from town A, in kilometers, where the matatu caught up with the cyclist. The matatu caught up with the cyclist. Now look, this matatu left at 2 p.m. So first of all, let's get the distance covered. So here we go, the distance covered by this, the distance covered by the cyclist by 2 p.m. it was 40 kilometers. So we go ahead first and get the relative speed. Now, in order to get the relative speed for bodies moving in the same direction, you simply do subtraction. So this is 80, you lay 60 to give you 20 kilometers per hour. After you've gotten that, and this is the distance separating the two, now they want the distance from town A, where the matatu caught up with this one. So first of all, let's get the time taken to catch up. Let's get time taken to catch up. Time taken, you take the time the last mat began, that is 2:00. Let me just catching up time. This is catching up time is 2:00 plus 40/20. This means it is 4:00 p.m. Meaning it caught up with the other at 4:00 p.m. So when they are asking the distance from point A to where those vehicles caught up with each other, is simply you can say this is simply getting the distance by mat at 4 p.m. which is the same as the speed of the mat, which is 80, times the time interval from 2 to 4, that is 2 hours. So meaning it is 160 kilometers. And this is the distance from town A. That is the distance from town A. You would have answered that Roman 2. Roman 3, the time when the matatu caught up with the cyclist. the time when the matatu caught up with the cyclist. I think that one even we just summed up here, because first you get the relative speed, which is 80 minus 60, giving you 20 kilometers per hour. Then the time to catch up, you take the last time, the time when the last vehicle took off, plus the distance separating the two over the relative speed, which will give you 4:00 p.m. So that is the time for catch up. Part B of the question. Part B of the question. A lorry traveling at an average speed of 40 kilometers per hour left town B for town A. So we have a lorry. We have a lorry which left this lorry. It is moving at a speed of 40 kilometers per hour. Remember that the distance from A to B was 400 kilometers. 400 kilometers. 400 kilometers. Determine the time when the lorry and the matatu met. So this lorry and matatu are approaching each other. How do we get the relative speed? The relative speed is the summation of it. So the relative speed is given by the speed of the matatu plus the speed of the lorry. So this gives you 120 kilometers per hour. That is the relative speed. After you've gotten the relative speed, to get the meeting time, remember that this lorry also set off at 2:00 p.m. Because now they set off at the same time, it is simply 2:00 plus what is the distance separating the two? 400 kilometers over the relative speed, which is 120. When you compute that, dear students, you should get 5:20 p.m. 5:20 p.m. or someone, even if you write it as 17:20 hours, no one will deny you your mark. So that is what you are required to do on question 17. That's what you are required to do on question 17. Now, let's check on question number 18. Let's check on question number 18, dear students. On the grid, on the following grid, triangle PQR is drawn. Triangle PQR is drawn on that grid. The first bit of it is, on the same grid, draw triangle P prime, Q prime, R prime. The image of triangle PQR under a reflection in the line y equals to 0. Under reflection in the line y equals to 0. Now, what is this line y equals to 0? The line y equals to 0 is simply the x-axis. Simply the x-axis. So you look at that triangle PQR. We want to reflect it on the line y equals 0 on the x-axis. So I'm going step by step, dear students. The simple way, look at where point P is, okay? From P to the x-axis, how many big squares are you able to see? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 big squares. P is 4 big squares from the x-axis. So also, you count along just the same line, 4 big squares downwards. 4 big squares downwards. And that will be your P prime. And if you are very, very keen, you will notice that your P prime will be falling under 1, -2. That will be your P prime. Now, let's also look at our Q. When you look at Q and we want to reflect that point Q along the x-axis, point Q is 2 big squares away from the x-axis. So we move again from the x-axis, we also again move 2 big squares downwards. So when you move 2 big squares downwards, you'll be getting your Q prime as 2, -1. So you'll be getting it as Q is 2, -1. That's your Q prime. Let's also get our R prime. Remember that it is reflection on the x-axis. I want you to measure on that. When you look at x-axis, R is located how many squares from the x-axis? I can see 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 big squares from the x-axis. So also R prime will be 4 big squares from the x-axis, but below now the x-axis. That will be giving you the coordinate of r prime as 2, negative 2. 2, negative 2. Then now you join P to Q, P prime to Q prime to R prime. By that you would have answered part A. Roman 1. So Roman 2 of the question, triangle P double prime, Q double prime and R double prime, the image of triangle P prime, Q prime and R prime under an enlargement scale factor negative 1.5, comma, center 0. Now, when you talk about a negative scale factor, what does it mean? Whenever you see, dear students, a negative scale factor, it means that the object and the image are on the opposite sides of the scale factor. If the object is to the left, then obviously the image will be to the right if the scale factor is negative. So, remember that the center is 0. So what I'll need you students to do, on that triangle P prime, Q prime and R prime, let's get back to our graph. On that triangle P prime, Q prime and R prime, draw straight lines, passing, for example, if you have your P prime, draw a straight line from P prime passing through the origin. It should just be a straight line, same to Q prime and same to R prime, After you've drawn it, I want also now we see how we can locate the double primes. Now, locating the double primes, there are two approaches. There is the counting technique and there is what is called measurement. Remember that the enlargement is negative 1.5. So the first thing you can do as a student, you can take even maybe your divider, your pair of divider or compass, measure the distance from P prime to the center of rotation, to the center of enlargement. Then take it, if for example you've gotten 4, take 4 times 1.5. When you take 4 times 1.5, you'll be getting 6. Then that 6 now will be the distance of the image. That is by measurement. But another student will say, this person gonna do the counting technique. If you do the counting technique, let's see, I want to get my P double prime. So after I've joined P prime to O, to the origin, I count how many big squares are there. 1, 2, 3, 4. If now it's 4, it means that to get P double prime, it is 6 big squares away from the center. That gives me my P double prime. In that case, it will be negative 1.5, comma 3. P double prime will be negative 1.5, comma 3. Negative 1.5, comma 3. The same applies to Q double prime. You just apply the same concept, counting or measurement. I'm sure if you will do it very well, dear student, you'll be getting 3,1.5. Negative 3,1.5. Negative 3,1.5. R double prime. You'll be getting it as negative 3,3. Negative 3,3. So if you do it very well, students, those are the coordinates of the double primed image. Roman 3 of question A. Question A. Triangle P triple prime, Q triple prime, and R triple prime. The image of P double prime, Q double prime, and R double prime under a half turn about the origin. Now, what do you understand by half turn about the origin? That is under 180 degrees. Under 180 degrees. Now, with 180 degrees, be it positive 180 degrees or negative 180 degrees, it's just the same thing. There is no difference. So the same applies. So you'll be getting, if you do it very, very well, dear students, I'm hoping that you are able to get P triple prime. The coordinates of P triple prime will be 1.5, comma negative 3. 1.5, comma negative 3. Q triple prime, you'll be able to get 3 comma negative 1.5. 3 comma negative, sorry, negative, yes, that's okay. Then with R triple prime, you'll be able to get 3 comma negative 3. So make sure you are able to do that. Now, I want to get into the last bit of it, that is part B. Describe a single transformation that maps triangle P prime, Q prime, and R prime onto P triple prime, Q triple prime, and R triple prime. If you've drawn it very, very well, you will see that P triple prime, Q triple prime, and R triple prime is the enlargement of P prime, Q prime, and R prime. It's just enlargement. It has increased in size. Now, to describe this transformation, how do you describe an enlargement fully? To describe an enlargement fully, one, you have to state its enlargement, state the center of enlargement, then state the scale factor of enlargement. That's how you'll get your 3 marks. So first of all, you have to tell me that it is enlargement. After telling me that you've seen it is enlargement, you have to give me the center of enlargement. Now, dear students, how do you get the center of enlargement? The center of enlargement is simply gotten in this way. Join any 2 points to their corresponding images. For example, join P prime to P triple prime, okay? Then make a continuous line, just a straight line. Extend that line. Again, join Q prime to Q triple prime. Then extend the line. Where the 2 lines will be meeting will be your center of enlargement. I'm sure if you do that, you realize that they are meeting at the center 0. So you have to tell me that it's enlargement with center 0, 0. Then we have to get the scale factor. You have also to tell me the scale factor of enlargement. Now you realize if the center is 0, 0, the object and the image are lying on the same side of the center, meaning that the scale factor must be positive. So in order to get the scale factor, you can measure the distance O to P triple prime, so that it becomes O to P triple prime over O to P prime. So that will be, if you measure that, you'll be getting 6 over 4, which equals to 1.5. That means that the scale factor is 1.5. So with scale factor 1.5. So you say it's an enlargement, a mark, scale factor, center origin, a mark, with scale factor 1.5, a mark, to get your 3 marks, 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 to get your 3 marks. Question number 19. Question number 19. The figure below shows a right pyramid VABCD. The base ABCD of the pyramid is a square of side 8 centimeters. The length of the slanting edges VA equals to VB equals to VC equals to VD equals to 10 centimeters. Find the vertical height of the pyramid correct to 2 decimal places. The vertical height of the pyramid correct to 2 decimal places. How do we get the vertical height of that pyramid, dear students? How do we get the vertical height of that pyramid? Now, with that one, you will learn that if this is just a rough sketch of it, if it is of that manner, this is maybe A, B, C, D. This is my V. This is 8, 8, 10. They want the vertical height of the pyramid, this distance from the apex here to the center of the base here. Now, in order to get that, let's look. Remember that the base here is square. So first of all, we can have this 8, 8. Let's get the diagonal. Huh? To get that diagonal, it is the square root of 8 squared plus 8 squared. When you work it out, you'll be getting that diagonal as 11.31. 11.31 centimeters. Now, after you've gotten that, I call this one here the center origin, or I can extrapolate, I can extract something here. This dotted line from V to O, I extend it to B. And VB is 10. I want you to be very keen. 10. After that, remember that OB is half of the diagonal. Huh? If the diagonal is 11.31, huh? If the diagonal is 11.31, so half of it will be 5.66. So this is 5.66. Now, they want the vertical height of the pyramid, that is the distance VO. In order to get VO, this is the square root of 10 squared minus 5.66 squared. When you compute that in your calculator, you will be able to get 8.24 centimeters. So that is the vertical height of that square-based pyramid. Part B, the surface area of the pyramid. Now when you look at that pyramid, it is made up of the base, which is square, and on each side we have the triangles. Now, the surface area is the total area of each figure. Let's compute the areas of those squares. Sorry, the triangles. When you look at the triangle, we have this triangle. This is 8, this is 10, this is 10. Now, this is an isosceles triangle. We can get its area. Remember that. How do you get an area given both sides? Given all the three sides? You will apply what is called the hero's formula. Area is given by the square root of S into S minus A, S minus B, S minus C. That is hero's formula in form 2. Now, how do you get your S? To get your S, it is half of that perimeter. It is 10 plus 10 plus 8. What you get, you divide that by 2. So you'll be getting, in that case, I'm getting my S. My S, I'm getting my S as 14 centimeters. After I've gotten my S, I'll now come and apply that formula. Area is equals to the square root of S into, sorry, now my S here is 14. 14 into S minus A, that is 14 minus 10 into 14 minus 10 into 14 minus 8. Now, dear students, when you compute that very well, when you compute that, you'll be getting your area. You'll be getting your area as 36.66. 36.66 squared centimeters. But how many triangles do we have in that figure? We have 4 triangles, isn't it? And this is just the area for one triangle. So area of the 4 triangles is now 36.66. You multiply that by 4. When you multiply that by 4, dear students, you should be getting 146.64. 146.64 squared centimeters. So that is the area from the triangles. What about now the base? The base is a square of side 8. How do you get the area of a square? It is S squared, which is 8 squared, giving you 64 squared centimeters. After you've gotten the area of that square, to get now the total surface area, it is now the summation of the areas. So the surface area now of that figure, it will be now 64 plus 146.64. What are you getting when you do that addition? When you compute that, you'll be getting 210.64. 210.64 squared centimeters. So that is the surface area of that solid, dear students. Part C, the volume of the pyramid. How do you get the volume of a square-based pyramid? It is simply a third times base area times height. Volume, to get the volume, it is a third base area times height. That's the formula. So this is a third base area is simply 8 times 8 times the vertical height which we got in this question, that is 8.24. 8.24. When you compute that smartly, you'll be getting 175.79. 175.79 cubic centimeter. Now, up to that point, students, I would like to leave our today's discussion there. I appreciate all of you for turning up into this class today. May God bless you all. Next time, we will link up again. Thank you. Goodbye.